There.
For the
Just like that.
for the blooper reels and everything, right?
Yeah, for the
Yeah, you gotta have the blooper reels, eh?
gotta have the blooper reels.
It's pretty well all a blooper reel.
So I know we're recording right now, Sean, but I know we kind of talked about your mic and interface and things like that earlier. Did you get that sussed out, or are we just going with your regular PC audio?
I didn't even look at it, so we'll just go with the PC.
Oh, you sound nice and loud.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm actually going to turn them down just a kind of tear. Can you sing ABC to the letter G, please?
I can try, but no, I'm not
you
going
a
to.
singer?
That's perfect right there.
Not a singer.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to say that's probably good levels right there, guys.
Sweet.
All right. Phones on mute, folks.
Yeah, my phone's always on mute.
Am I on mute?
That's the way it.
Let me turn this vibrate off, so it doesn't vibrate the shit out of this table.
Good call though to start mentioning the guest, because how many guests have not had their phones on mute?
More than our listeners know, because I edit it out usually, but sometimes like one of our guests, Mr. Frankie Hager, there's no editing that one out.
No, he just kept going and going and going.
Oh.
How's it going, Sean? How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm not popular enough for my phone to go off a bunch, so.
I disagree with that statement, buddy.
From our fan questions.
From our mailbag here, you are a very popular guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
For anybody that gets to watch the video version of this episode, look what Mike and I are drinking tonight. It's not twisted tea, ladies and gentlemen. It's something big brewing at Uncle Leo's Brewery in Lions Brook, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the season once we get a little bit more information from Uncle Leo and the fine folks down there.
But isn't that cool, Sean? Look at that. There's a beer with our name on it.
How cool.
Can't argue with that.
So ladies and gentlemen,
it's a local brewery.
Let me introduce our guest this week. He is oh man, I don't even know how to define this guy. Brutal. He is a brutal guy. The type of music that he does, he is definitely gruesome. The type of music that he does is something that we've covered on this show before in regards to extreme metal. That's definitely this gentleman's genre, and man, what a resume he's got. And we're going to kind of go over all that tonight. I want to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, and please forgive me on the pronunciation of your name, but we, ladies and gentlemen, have Gruesome Sean Wyszynski with us this week. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you very much. That's like the most common mispronunciation that I hear of the last name.
So it's Wyszynski. School me.
Yeah, please.
It is Wyszynski.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this week's guest, Sean Wyszynski. There
you go.
Now we know.
That is a question that's in the mailbag, actually. I think you might have seen that, Sean. I think you were paying attention to some of those questions, preparing yourself, aren't you?
I saw a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, someone actually asked that as a question.
Mm-hmm.
So Wyszynski, so that's got to be European.
Totally.
Yeah, it's Polish.
I was just gonna say Polish. Yeah, you should have given me half a second. I want to get it right.
I'm a quarter Polish myself. My grandma will be proud.
Nice. Look at you guys
awesome.
connected.
She came here from Poland.
Neato. So Sean, I'm sure that you've tuned into the show before. We've had a bandmate of yours on. We talked about some of the bands that you've been in the past.
Yeah.
Why don't you maybe kind of, I mean, you know how this show goes. We like to find out where you're from, what you're doing, and what's up next kind of thing. So let's start, man. Who the fuck are you even? You know, I mean, who
the fuck are you?
Really though, I mean, you know, we've had a few interactions. Always a good time together, man. You know, you got a huge heart. You're a fine young gentleman.
I appreciate being called young.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to say it because we don't feel it, brother. But yeah, like I say, you know, in my definition, you're a great dude, but there's so many more layers to you. So maybe give our listeners and and the viewers here on the video version of this podcast, found on our website, jamsessionspodcast.com. Why don't you tell them who you are, where you come from, and just kind of fill us in on why you fell in love with music, maybe, you know, those early inspirations and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
Kinds of questions from the mailbag, so I don't want to overstep my boundaries here, but
cool.
Take it away, Sean. Why don't you fill us in on who you are a little bit?
Yeah, well, I was born in Ontario originally, in Kitchener,
Okay.
Ontario. I didn't spend any time there. By the time I was a few months old, my parents moved to BC. So I grew up in BC until I was 15 years old.
Wow.
So not an original Maritimer.
Yeah,
No, originally from PEI, I put in the post, and I was incorrect.
I always tell people I'm from PEI anyway, just because I spent the most time there in my life. But yeah, I was in BC till I was 15. Then I moved to PEI. Um, Love of music, really. I think initially it all comes from my mom. She always had music going in the house whenever I was growing up and stuff like that. You know, a lot of just oldies, right? A lot of old rock and roll stuff like that, and a lot of Beatles. Those are some of my earliest memories. Are stuff like Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley and the Beatles, especially.
Especially the Beatles, wicked. So let me ask you then, what's your favorite Beatles album?
I like Rubber Soul.
Ooh, good one, dude.
Wow.
There's a lot of good songs on that one.
Hell yes, absolutely.
A question:
But, you can't really go wrong with any of them.
No, I agree.
You listen to a lot of music, don't you?
I try to. I tell people, I don't know. I listen to a wide array of stuff, but really, I just listen to a lot of death metal.
Yeah, you definitely do. You recently became friends with me on Facebook just a few months ago because of this podcast, actually.
Yeah, totally.
And since I've been friends with you, occasionally you'll do these little posts on there of music you've been listening to recently, and you'll have like a big list of your albums that you've listened to last month. And you're kind of like me, man. I could just tell you like listening to music, and you're listening. I could just tell it's just constantly going in the background, just like myself.
Absolutely.
So, it's mostly death metal, probably.
Oh yeah, a good chunk of it is pretty brutal stuff.
I do want to bring up one extra little piece of visual candy for folks that are getting to watch this episode. Because of the death metal and the black metal, you'll notice that our background, which is usually white, is black tonight.
Yeah,
because
we ain't black.
Yeah, we got the gruesome motherfucker on, so we went a little dark tonight.
You got to go black.
That's right.
Yes. So let's get into what was the first extreme thing you've ever heard that got you into extreme metal? Do you remember the first?
Great question, Mike.
First extreme shit I ever heard that was like, beyond your standard metal. Probably, it's funny to say, but it was probably Cannibal Corpse on Ace Ventura.
Oh yes,
for real. Wow.
Yeah,
that's a really
I think I was 12 or 13 when that movie came out, and I remember seeing that and thinking it was pretty insane. It was far beyond what I was listening to at the time.
I guess that was really big for them at that time. I guess that they got them like a lot of recognition.
And also Jim Carrey is like a legit fan of Cannibal Corpse for those listening.
He is. Yeah, Jim Carrey's great.
Great. Absolutely.
So that's your first memory, and was that what got you into it, or was it something later on?
Like it was a couple of years later, probably grade 9, grade 10. I was listening to mostly whatever my older sister was listening to, or just whatever my parents had. They had a pretty big record collection. So my father was really into a lot of like 70s prog, like really weird prog stuff. I couldn't even begin to remember any names, but it was a lot of stuff that my sister was listening to. So stuff like Nirvana and Guns N' Roses, especially Guns N' Roses, and then I slowly got into like Black Sabbath, but it was Metallica that got me into everything else. I got into Metallica, and I'm still into Metallica. I don't care. They're such a divisive band. There's so many people that hate them or love them, or I
can't help it when they put out something, you have to check it out.
Absolutely.
There's just one of that band that even if it's shit or it's good, you're still gonna check it out.
Yeah,
Metallica being that one of those bands for sure.
So you like Saint Anger? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It's been a while since I listened to Saint Anger.
Man, the most metal thing on that album is that fucking snare.
That's true. Yeah, you could argue it is the heaviest album they ever put out. It's just not very. It's just not very good.
I could argue that. Yeah.
There's moments, and I could see what they were trying to do. It's just they failed at it. That's all.
I think that's exactly it. Is that they maybe were even trying too hard.
Yeah.
So credit.
That's a good one.
And that's, I think it really.
When you watch that documentary, you could see that that's what they were doing. They were
overproduced, and just you could tell they were just trying to do something that really they shouldn't have been trying to do.
No, the state of that band at the time, it seemed like they're really forcing it.
You know, that's another good perspective too, Sean. Thank you for that one for sure.
Yeah.
So would you say that maybe the person that got you into the vocal style and brutal fucking guttural screams that you're able to make with those pretty lips of yours, would you say that it was Barney, or who would you say was the biggest vocal influence early on?
Biggest vocal influence. That's a good one. It's probably a combination of the early Death albums, like Scream Bloody Gore
with Chuck. Or yeah,
there you go, right there. I got Death Glass.
There you go, man. Nice. Rest in peace, by the way.
But yeah, Chuck Schuldiner on the early Death stuff, and then probably Chris Barnes on that early Cannibal Corpse stuff. That's probably what initially influenced me especially when I first started doing this type of vocal. I was just like, okay, well, who can I copy? Because I didn't really know what I was doing.
That's wicked, man. I love it. But I mean, really, when we're young, that's kind of how we learn, is by emulating the people that we look up to in regards to that. I mean, I did the same thing with my vocal style, picking from all these different kind of singers that have kind of culminated into what now sounds like me. You know what I mean? But you can definitely, if you knew my influences deeply, you can definitely pick them out there and do, in different parts of different songs. So I feel you there for sure, dude. And I can hear, especially since you mentioned Chuck, I can totally hear that now that when I think about when you're singing or vocalizing or however you like to say it, I can definitely hear Mr. Schuldiner in there for sure.
Yeah, totally.
I hear a lot of different things with you, actually. That's one, but there's, when you going through your discography, you've kind of got a lot of different voices that you use, I think.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always tried to do, especially in death metal, is try to have a bit of variety at the vocals, right?
Dynamic is definitely a word I would use when describing you, for sure.
Yeah, because there's an awful lot of death metal out there that's so just monotonous vocally. It's the same thing all the way through.
That's fair.
And and that works for some people, and some people just want to listen to it just for the sheer brutality of it, and that's cool. I've been there before. But for myself personally, especially when I'm trying to create something with somebody, I like to have that variety. Because the best death metal, in my opinion, best music, but death metal, it's got to have a hook. It can't just be just insane all the way through. You got a hook. Well, you got to have a hook in there.
That's what Death was good at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Those bridges, those kind of those connecting transition pieces is really where they shone, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, they had a lot of melodic parts, and it wasn't just like it was extreme, but it was, you could groove to it.
Yeah. A quick little shout out to both Chad Mitchell and Danny Alexander for showing me Death and Chuck Schuldiner. So thanks, boys.
Oh yeah,
that first album, man.
So a question I have, because you're an extreme metal vocalist, and I've dabbled in that a little bit myself, is how did you start practicing that style?
Great question.
Because it's not an easy thing you can't just do that in your living room or out and about with people. Like you kind of, people will look at you very strangely. That style, right?
Is that why I get looked at all the time? I didn't realize that's why I got looked at all the time.
I thought it was because I was so deadly handsome.
The first time I started doing this type of stuff is when I joined my first band, which was Gruesome Feast.
Okay. First band.
Yeah, I had never done any sort of singing in a band, and I'd never done any extreme type of vocal.
Were they already like a band without a singer, and then you went and tried for them, or how'd this band start?
Well, they the majority of that band, they had a Slayer cover band. They were called Decorated Splatter.
Okay.
And they had a bassist slash singer at the time, and they decided they wanted to stop doing the Slayer songs and wanted to start writing death metal. So they, I guess he wasn't going to be a part of it. So they had the two guitarists and the drummer, and then they wanted to get a singer. And I was friends with those guys, and they figured I'd be a good front man, not knowing whether I could do the vocals or not. So they asked me to join. So I just started jamming with them and just trial and error trying to do death metal vocals.
So were you doing anything before that? Like your first time trying stuff was with this band? That's
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, besides, like whisper growling while you're listening to tunes and like in your room and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was the first time I jammed with Gruesome Feast. Would have been the first time I tried it, especially like full tilt.
So was that where most of your practice came from in the early days, was with that band then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, absolutely. We jammed all the time.
So awesome. You guys play a lot of shows?
Yeah, once we got going, we were probably playing a lot more in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick than we were in PEI. Like we were still playing a decent amount of shows in PEI, but yeah, we played all over the Maritimes for about 2 years, about 2003 to 2005. It was pretty steady of playing shows, and then we were all in PEI, and Paul, one of our guitarists, he moved to Halifax, and it just made it a little bit more difficult, and we didn't want to replace him. So like we would write new songs as a 4-piece, and then he would come over for a gig to Charlottetown or Summerside or whatever, and he would learn the song in like one night, and then we go and play the next day and stuff like that. It just got a little bit difficult because that stuff was pretty demanding on the guitar.
And the body, I'm imagining too. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow, man.
Oh yeah, it's like a crazy workout whenever you're done jamming that stuff.
So me and Jeph, we were talking before that we're going to try and play one song from each of your bands, and maybe a couple from the new one to help promote that.
Absolutely. So let's maybe talk about Gorchestral Blasphemy, a 10-song, a full-length album, I suppose, eh?
Yeah, we recorded that in Halifax in 2004.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We never released it officially.
Never pressed.
I put it on the internet, I think in 2006. Eventually, like it was only a small group of our friends that actually heard it until then. But yeah, that was the first one where we were recording, with tracks, and you got to do every section separately. Man, we had no idea what we were doing. Well, the first time we recorded, it turned out okay. The first time we recorded, we did a demo called The First Supper. And that one was recorded like just live in the jam spot. There's a guy that our bass player knew who had like a mixing board in like the back seat of his car. So he had his car backed up to the window of our jam spot that was in the basement of our bassist's place, and we had all the cords coming in from the outside, and he mic'd us up from his fucking car.
What a geek. I fucking love it, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that guy normally did like traditional like East Coast music and stuff, so it was amazing he was able to mic us as well as he did.
Well, I mean, miking is miking, but for big huge shout out to him for going from traditional East Coast to orchestral blasphemy.
So I was gonna see if maybe you want to choose the songs that we picked today, Sean. If you want, or we can pick them too. But we're one song off that album that you think showcases your vocal style the most.
Great, I love it, Mike. What do you think, buddy?
What do you think?
Orchestral. You know which one I like on there, and it was always really fun to play live because our drummer Ronnie would go insane, and then we'd have to play it way faster than we basically could. Was Machete Disembowelment.
Oh, what a name. I love it. And that's something else that I wanted to bring up maybe a little later on is some of the fucking titles that you come up with, dude. Like,
yeah, I have a question about that too.
Like, do you have good dreams and things like that?
Are you obsessed with death? I know it's death metal. You seem to.
He's such a happy guy. Like, I don't think he could be.
I know. Well, when I first joined the band, they wanted me to write the lyrics too, right? So, and I'd never written lyrics before in my life. And Curtis, one of the guitarists, he was like, "Just write songs about people you hate, and write songs about killing them and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that."
I was working a lot more people than I hate. So,
well, I was working at a call center at the time, and man,
easier when you work at a call center.
Oh, dude.
That's what I do.
There are so many people.
This song's for you, Jeph.
Yeah, that's a song for people that work at call centers.
Yeah, well, that was the influence. That was the influence. Just hated so many people, and so it made it easy.
If you don't mind, we're gonna put the full songs on. Like, we could cut it off halfway if you don't want to listen to it.
No, it doesn't bother me. You can put on whatever you want.
We kind of like putting the full thing on.
Kind of like a radio show, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
So I'm going to mute your mic, Sean, just so we don't have any bleed in and things like that, just so we can get a good quality recording for the listeners with the headphones and things like that. So ladies and gentlemen, here's your first song. This one is off of the album that we've been talking about here, Gorchestral Blasphemy by the band Gruesome Feast, one of Sean's first, I guess you could say, professional works. This song is number 4 off the Gorchestral Blasphemy. I just love saying it. I'm gonna say Gorchestral Blasphemy, and I haven't like stumbled on it once. So track 4 off of Gorchestral Blasphemy by Gruesome Feast from our guest here this week, Sean Wyszynski. Here we go with Machete Disembowelment right here on Jam Sessions.
Machete Disembowelment there for you listeners out there.
God damn.
Oh my God. Okay, so your vocals is why you're on the show here, but let's give a shout out to these other band members. Who's the other guys in this band? Because
whoa,
everybody in there deserves a little bit of credit here.
Kidding, Mike.
Guitars, we got Curtis Fraser and Paul Beranger, and there was nobody on. We didn't have a bass player when we recorded this. I'm trying to think who played bass on this. It was Paul or Curtis. It was one of the two. And then drummer Ronnie Perry. He's a friggin' monster.
Yes.
Monster indeed. Holy crikeys, man. What a wall of fucking sound coming at you through the speaker. Well, through the headphones, I suppose.
One thing I noticed when I was listening to that album, that I don't know the crap, what symbol that is. It just really
the China.
Yeah,
China. I bet you
man,
it's a China symbol, probably about that big.
I remember he was really excited about getting a new China symbol, and man, he played that a lot on that album.
Great application, though.
It didn't overdo it, but
that's what I was just about to say. It's relevant applications of that piece of the kit, and I don't think like it's definitely a part of that album for sure. To say that it isn't would be a lie. Yeah. But I think used well, relevantly, and understated. So I mean, hey, good job for sure, Ronnie. Fucking right.
It definitely adds to the flavor of the album because you hear that China throughout the whole album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stands out for sure. It's one of the things, and I don't know, it just makes me smile when I hear it anyway.
Well, it's a character in and of itself. So once more time, guys, what you just heard was Machete Disembowelment off of the album Orchestral Blasphemy.
Man. That doesn't sound
by Gruesome Feast, Sean's first professional kind of gig. So what happened after that? Where were you in life? Where were you geographically? You know, what was happening after?
How long did that last?
Yeah, I guess that's a better question.
Gruesome Feast went from start of 2003 till the end of 2005, about the fall into the winter of 2005. At that point, I was, I knew the band was ending. I don't remember if I was working or not, but I was looking at moving because the band was ending, didn't want to stay in Summerside anymore. And I was thinking about moving to Halifax, which is what I did for a little while. I moved to Halifax, and around the same time I got in touch with the Collapse guys and joined that band at the end of 2005.
Awesome. So just for legality purposes and things like that, we will unfortunately not be playing any Collapse songs this evening. I mean, there's all kinds of places, folks, that you can find it.
We're not going to play any Collapse,
but it ain't coming off of this show. So there. I mean, we can talk about
I can't say I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, that's a can of worms that I'm not willing to open. I loved all the guys in Collapse. I loved Collapse. Let me just fucking say that, man.
I was around the Collapse days, and I was seeing a lot of I was in their jam space, watching them jam all the time, and I went to a few Collapse shows. So yeah, I was part of the Collapse days.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you, it was some fucking tumultuous times in my life. I was high all the time, and I'm so glad those days are behind me. Let me tell you what.
So yeah, I was doing a little bit of drinking during those times.
You did a little demo with Collapse there, and did a little work with them, and you end up with some of the boys from that project. You ended up forming another band with which I can say you're probably pretty proud of that one. But there was a band before Hate Division. That's the band I was supposed to say.
Started with A and M and an Amnesty.
So that's hard to say without the A.
Yeah. Was that around the same time?
I've never tried that. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think here. I feel like Collapse wasn't doing a whole lot. I was living in PEI. I was back in PEI.
And I know that traveling wasn't exactly the fucking easiest thing for a dude that at that time, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have a car and things like that, right? So
that's right. Yeah, I didn't have a car.
Well, our last guy, Chad Mitchell, he moved away too, and he was part of Collapse. So that was another thing that happened.
Mm-hmm. Maybe someday we'll get who on the show. Maybe.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm a pretty big optimist. So anything can fucking happen. Anything can happen, boys. Just saying.
Anything can happen. We're gonna edit this part out, aren't we, Jeff?
Nope. Fucking leave it in, because I didn't say anybody's name.
We never said a word, but I mean, it's
all I'll say about all of that is that mental illness is a fucking shitty thing.
Dude,
and I hope everybody that has mental illness, including certain specific people, get the help they need and deserve.
And deserve. Absolutely well said, Sean. And for anybody that might be listening, you know, on a more serious note, if you are suffering from mental health, wow. So obviously this is definitely working for me. If you are suffering from mental illness, please reach out to someone, anyone, even if it's Mike and Jeph. We might not be able to help you, but we can definitely listen. For God's sake, reach out. We love you and we want to make sure that you're okay. So don't be afraid to do that. Especially that dude that we're talking about that we're not going to say. He who shall not be named.
Yes.
Voldemort? No, that's not. Anyway, moving on.
He's like the Chris Benoit of that scene.
Dude. Okay, Amnesty. Let's move on. No, that was really good, dude.
I know another person that was a vocalist of that didn't pan out too, as well as your bro. Your bro was doing Collapse.
He was also the singer of Collapse for a short while. Yeah, my big brother Dennis, owner of Omen Audio Records here in New Glasgow. Big shout out to that little company that we love so much.
So do you know Dennis at all, Sean?
I've met Dennis once or twice, just kind of in passing. I haven't had too many conversations with Dennis. I don't really know a whole lot about Dennis besides that he was in Collapse, to be honest.
Did you hear any Spur?
I've heard Spur. That shit is awesome.
Yes, sir. I can attest he's a pretty fucking awesome dude myself. Yep. So I can't disagree with you there, Sean, for sure. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about Amnesty here. Yes. So we're looking more around that 2008 mark. Can you tell us a little bit about the album that you released called Compelled to Kill?
Compelled to Kill. Yeah. I joined. They had already put out an album with Curtis, who was in Gruesome Feast. He was on vocals on that one. Demolition of the Infected, I believe is the name. Anyway,
wait. Demolition of the Infected.
Yeah. That's the name of the first one they did.
Like,
it's also track 10 I see on this album.
Death metal, black metal bands. Excuse me. Some of the names that they come up with, like just Carcass song names alone is like, what?
Oh, I love the Carcass ones are great.
I love
so intelligent.
I love some of the names on this album that we're going over. Actually, Unnecessary Incision,
Necrophiliac Aphrodisiac. Come on,
Forever Crucified.
Absolutely.
It's all real positive shit, you know.
Ashes of the Enemy, Rotting in Blood. These all sound like,
am I going to hell that I smile at these?
Just spreading positivity, you know.
I would like to ask one question, Sean, regarding the album art for this. I can see maybe a pair of forceps, definitely some sort of human flesh and some gauze. Can you maybe describe what the fuck I'm looking at?
That was some sort of photography project or something that my friend made, Danny Dowling. He made all that stuff. I don't know how. I didn't ask him. Hopefully not due to
no one was
sort
really
of nefarious.
No humans were hurt in the making of.
I'm going to assume no humans were hurt, or animals, or anything else. But I couldn't tell you. I don't.
John,
it could be real blood.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bud.
I know a lot of my friends that are into metal. Some guests that we've had on before, friends of yours, I know, are into horror films. Are you? I don't know if you are.
Great question, Mike.
I'm very much into horror films.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a favorite?
It seems to be the thing, right?
Do you have a favorite director?
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't know if I have a favorite director. That's a tough one. I like. I'm a fan of Clive Barker's work. He was never a director. Well, he directed the first Hellraiser movie and had no idea what he was doing, but that's a wonderful movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
But as far as themes go and stuff, I got to go with Clive Barker, even though he's not really a director.
Huh. Awesome. That's still a good answer.
It seems like the names of these titles, the cover of it's very horror based. This project, would you say?
Oh yeah.
Compelled to Kill,
all the way death metal, would you say?
Yeah, it's as death as can be.
Oh yeah, big time. Most of the stuff I wrote in Gruesome Feast and in Amnesty was based off of some sort of horror movie, for the most part. Like on Orchestral Blasphemy, Painful Ecstasy. That's a Hellraiser song.
If I was to pick a song of that, that's probably my favorite off that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. There's some nice catchy riffs in that one.
And there's a spot where you get a spot where you get to shine in that song.
Oh yeah, there's the spoken word part. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that's a line from one of the Hellraiser movies.
Awesome, man. So just for the record, for anybody that might be listening and or watching, holy fuck, did those movies ever scare me as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Pinhead alone, and then the sound that I would hear as I was trying to go to sleep at night. Yeah. Oh man. Ugh. Yeah, I had a really overactive imagination, ladies and gentlemen. So
you've done that before on our podcast, the teeth thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, it fucking haunts me to this day.
It haunts me when you do it.
It's ASMR hour here on Jam Sessions podcast. So
is this where we all start whispering and like overdoing our S's and our T's?
Yeah.
I love it. Huh? Yeah. God
or,
damn.
Or Jeph has a little effect thing that he can.
Oh, I'm not gonna push any buttons here tonight. Where it's already spooky enough with music. So Sean, would you guys be cool if I picked the next song?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you did want the one with the spoken word.
No, that was off the other one.
Go Casual, right.
No, yeah, pick man. It was just an idea of Sean picking them, but I don't care which. As long as we're picking one off each album, that's so my idea.
I think that this one is kind of really relevant to our current times with all of our lockdowns and limited and not being able to play shows and blah fucking blah. This is number 4 off of the Compelled to Kill. Look, the beer's doing it again. Compelled to Kill by Amnesty. Released around November 2008. Sean, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Cool. So this is going to be called track number 4. I think really relevant to our times and what we're experiencing these types of days. This one's called Freedom Denied. Jesus, I'm looking at other lines that
that's track 3 then, Jeph.
Track 3. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
So I didn't eat anything today. And this is working.
It's all right. We need to get Jeph buzzed on the show now.
Jeph doesn't ever get buzzed. Jeph just runs the show and he stays pretty much sober most of the time. This is
kind of funny. This is rare, Sean. Enjoy.
You're welcome, Sean. I'm fucking sorry.
You know what's rare? I got a little bit high before I came up here to do this, and that's pretty rare.
I was just about to ask that question actually, because
we're
gonna smoke a joint while this song.
I'm actually gonna bounce out for a quick cigarette. We're gonna smoke, and while you're doing that, I'll come back in and then we'll listen to the song, and it's all gonna be fucking cool.
But you're right. Freedom was denied during this fucking pandemic.
Our freedom is denied.
Sure was.
And I mean, even before the pandemic, I think our freedom was denied. So I think that this is a really great song. It's almost 4 minutes and 20 seconds long, which is my favorite song.
Yes.
I did that on purpose.
I know you did.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from Amnesty out of 2008, off of their album Compelled to Kill, track number 3, Just Like You're Living Right Now, Freedom Denied, right here on Jam Sessions. We're back. We'll get Sean back here in the room here in just 1 second here. There he is.
Woo.
Whoa.
Holy moly.
Damn.
So I can still hear it without headphones. Whoa. Extreme is definitely the fucking right word for this.
Oh yeah. There's no other way really to describe that. So here's a question. I think we should get into the mailbag here soon, Jeph. But before that,
you're reading my mind.
Because we were going to start asking some of their questions.
There's so many good ones.
Most of the stuff probably is given to you already done, and then you just add vocals to. Am I right with all these projects? Is that mostly true, or?
Well, with a few of them, yeah. Like with my current project, that's definitely how it's been, because we haven't been able to get together to jam because of this COVID bullshit.
I know some of the Hate Division stuff was done that way too, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much all the Hate Division stuff was done that way. So I would come over and jam with them. If we had a gig or something, I would come over. Same with Collapse. I would come over and jam with them usually the day before having to go play a gig. And recording, it was I was doing everything at home, and then I would just come in and do my vocal pieces over a weekend or so. But Amnesty and Gruesome Feast, I was pretty much a part of the whole writing process, the whole arrangement process. That's one aspect of it that I kind of miss, is getting. I like the arrangement process, putting together songs.
Imagine.
So if you were to in the future like to start going back to that, is what you're saying, then as a writing, start jamming a little bit more instead of doing this stuff online, recording all these albums, but you probably missed the jamming, playing live part, is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. The jamming part is definitely missed. One of these days we'll get together with the Sky Burial and be able to jam. We haven't jammed once. Everything we've done has been over the internet.
No way. You've never shared space to make music before?
Never.
Wow. That's
we'll get into that, the Sky Burial stuff.
Absolutely.
Later.
I'm lucky enough that all the dudes that are in my band, we all live close enough together, and we can usually get together once a week. How do you maintain a connection with these individuals? It would be through, I'm sure, interactions is very similar to this.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of just group chats, and then because in Alberta right now, you can't have anybody over to your house. You can't have anybody.
Denied freedom.
Yeah, and I think outdoors you can have up to 10 people at your place, but I mean it's been like minus 30 here, so that's gonna happen. So yeah, getting together, and it's been like this for months now, where we haven't been able to have people over to the house. I may have had my guitarist Bob over a couple of times to record vocals. It may or may not have happened. But not enough to receive $1,000 fine.
Good. Yeah, don't get that fine. It's not that I would know from personal, but I can just imagine any $1,000 fine sucking for anyone.
It's time to write
point
and do some mailbag questions.
It's mailbag. So we're gonna start off with our top fan. This guy does not miss a week since we started way back.
8 months ago.
8 months ago now. Wow.
Shit.
Almost a year we've been doing this trick.
Yeah. So I think it's a thing, man. I don't think it's a joke anymore.
And it's not. You know what though? I don't think it ever was.
No, I mean, but it's like,
it's not a hobby anymore.
Right. Well, it's still kind of
hey,
hobbies, but
cool story. We actually had someone go to our website and contact us to say, hey, I'm a Canadian artist. I'd like to be on your show. Someone from out in Ontario. So, we're not just asking for guests anymore. People are starting to want to be on our show. So, hey, Mike.
Yes.
High five, buddy. Our first question from our top fan, Mr. Richard Stanley, comes to you all the way from BC. Says, Sean, have you ever been involved in any projects that weren't metal, or has it been metal as fuck since day one?
Metal as fuck since day one. I've not been a part of anything beyond anything besides death metal. I mean, there's some slightly different elements in the Sky Burial than my previous projects, but really it's all been extreme metal.
Yeah, I noticed there's some bands that are in the metalarchives.com when I was looking there.
Yeah, because Mikey does his research. We called your grade 3 teacher.
That's a great website.
It is. And the Kill Floor, Engorged, or some other bands that you were in?
Yeah, I jammed with Gorged in Halifax. I never played live with them. That was another death metal band, kind of along the lines of stuff like Asphyx. Actually, I'm wearing an Asphyx t-shirt right now.
Oh, Asphyx.
Nice.
But yeah, kind of death doomy stuff, slower death metal. And the Kill Floor, that was me and Paul Shaw.
Oh,
just one song that we recorded called Newly Dead. I have no idea if that is on any sort of streaming site anywhere. Paul probably just has it at his house. I don't have a copy of it. I forget what it was recorded for. It might have been something to do with like some independent horror movie.
Paul's going to be on the show sometime.
Yeah, Paul Shaw. I know you're listening. We gotta lock you down, kid.
When you come on the show, bring in that Kill Floor song, will you? Please, buddy.
That'd be wicked.
That'd be awesome to hear.
Yeah. So we do have a couple. Well, not just a couple. Yo, you and Chad Mitchell. You guys pull the questions. Let me tell you what. So, from actually, that's let's go all the way back to.
Want to go? I was going to read Paul Shaw's question.
Fantastic segue, Michael. Let's take it away.
What was your favorite show that you ever played? And there's more to the question. Also, what's something you're listening to recently that pushes the limits of your musical taste? Let's just go to the first question. What's your favorite show that you've ever played?
Ooh, I think the most fun I ever had at a show, so that might be my favorite because it was the most fun, was probably Gruesome Feast with Cryptopsy in 2004 in Halifax.
Oh, you get to open up for them guys,
Cryptopsy. How?
Yeah, that was
cool.
A lot of fun.
How? So was that kind of like a big rock star moment for you, Sean, in regards to like, holy fuck, we're opening up for Cryptopsy?
It was a little bit of a rock star moment. Can't lie about that.
I fucking bet that would be for me, dude. Like, I'm not even a huge fan of that band, but those guys, like, they've made it. You know what I mean? That's good for you, man. Right on. High five, dude.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And a lot of drinks.
Oh. Do you remember most of it?
How old were you then?
I was 23.
Do you remember?
Very young.
Yeah, just a baby still. So
just a baby.
With the amount of alcohol that you were consuming at that time, Sean, do you remember most of that experience?
Yeah, unlike today, I could hold my alcohol back then.
Okay, so the old man just can't cut it anymore.
Oh, dude, I can get the same buzz now on like an 8-pack of beer that I could get back then on. God, I think my regular thing was a 15-pack of beer, 1 or 2 bottles of wine, and a pint of whiskey. That's what I used to drink.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it was no problem, and I was never hungover.
How does that happen? Oh,
now I look at a beer and I get a hangover.
23.
Yeah. Smell the cap of a fucking bottle of wine. It's like, oh my god, my head.
Damn.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And the second part of Paul's question was, what's something you're listening to recently that pushes the limits of your musical taste?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Because I'm pretty open-minded, especially when it comes to staying within metal. Yeah. I'm pretty open-minded. As far as outside of that, recently, there's stuff that my wife listens to that I would never listen to on my own or never would have sought after. That is pretty good. Like, she listens to Amy Cooney. I don't know if you know Amy Cooney.
No idea.
I know the name.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know.
But I will check it out. Just
kind of a Regina Spektor type, but a little bit poppier, I guess. But anyways, stuff like that, it caught my ear, and it's pretty catchy and just easy to listen to when you don't want to have like a wall of sound going in your ears.
So a question I have from what you just said there is, you sound like you are not picky when it comes to metal. Seems like you kind of like when it's that what you were just saying there a second ago? Like,
you're pretty open-minded.
If it's metal, you're like
I'm open-minded to because there's so many stupid amounts
genres.
of subgenres to metal. I'm a lot more open-minded than I used to be. So I'd say I'm open-minded as far as just the scope of the different types of metal. But at the same time, I'm pickier as to who I'm going to listen to.
Well, your style is more growls and screams.
Yeah,
the way you sing. So do you like singers that don't do that? The ones that do?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Iron Maidens and the Judas Priests and the
Iron Maiden is right behind Metallica as far as my two bands, Maiden. Yeah, actually, Bob, who plays guitar in the Sky Burial, him and I and another gentleman, we've been talking about doing a Maiden cover band. So that would be that'd be something completely different than what I'm used to.
Fuck, are we boring you?
Oh,
no, I'm just getting old.
It's that joint that you smoked, isn't
That's
it?
exactly it. You can blindfold this.
But this thing, I'm almost out.
So let's maybe move on to some other questions here. This is a two-part question from Mr. Bob Parsons. We've already said it, but he asks, how do you pronounce your last name? So one more time for Mr. Bob Parsons, Sean.
Bob, my last name's Wyszynski.
And his other question for follow-up is greatest NHL goaltender of all time. Go.
Greatest goalie. Well, this might come as a surprise to people that know me, know that I'm a Leafs fan.
Oh, how are we even friends, dude?
I didn't even get a chance to say don't hold it against me before I start getting the oohs
I'm a Red Wing fan.
Red Wings, Jesus.
I'm a Habs fan.
Ah, boo. But people will be surprised at my answer as because he played for the enemy for so long, is Patrick Waugh. Yeah. I got to put him as the top goalie.
See, and just a good goalie, good goalie, man. Price, you can't fucking deny. Just saying.
Yeah, fuck Carey Price.
I'll give you that one. So Mike Papaskin Bernard, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm so sorry, Mike, if I mispronounced that. Do you miss PEI or glad you're gone? Also, your wrestling dream match. I miss the old Amnesty jams. So Mike Bernard asks again, do you miss PEI or glad you're gone?
I miss PEI almost every single day. I wish I could go back. I wish there was work. There isn't anything as far as work goes that would make it worthwhile. It would be wonderful to go back to PEI.
I'm not from PEI, but to follow up on his question, has it changed a lot in the last 20 years?
PEI, yeah. Especially in the smaller communities. When I first moved there, I was 1996.
Very
and you had
PEI.
What's that?
Very different PEI.
That's what I've heard. I haven't.
Oh yeah, man.
Wow.
In those smaller rural communities, you still had like a decent amount of work, things like that. You had potato plants and things like that people could go work at. There isn't anything like that up there. You have the odd call center and a few other places, but as far as that aspect of it goes, it's completely different.
Huh. What is, if you don't mind me asking, Sean, what are you doing out in Alberta for the bread you eat every day?
I'm working at one of the notorious oil sites, working with vacuum trucks. So anything from wet vacs and hydrovacs, vacuuming up sewers, and
so your job sucks.
It can suck, yeah.
Well, vacuums, right? Fuck, that was bad, Jeff.
All right. So Adam House, Pictou County.
Wait. We didn't finish Mike's question.
Oh,
the second portion of that was, who is your wrestling dream match?
Oh, yes.
Wrestling dream match.
Something that we need to get into is you're, from what I'm gathering, is you're a big, huge wrestling
fan. WWE fan.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
Are you still following today?
I follow today. I don't watch a whole lot of WWE because it can be pretty that can be pretty horrible. I tried watching some last week, and I can't get through it without just skipping through most of the sections, and
just the main events probably now is the only thing worth watching, I'm guessing. I don't know.
A lot of times, sometimes, yeah. I don't know. I watch a lot of Japanese wrestling. It's a lot more hard hitting and a lot less phony.
Huh. So now, when you say less phony, is it because they're hitting harder, Sean, or is it that they're just selling the moves more?
That's both. Well, they're hitting harder, and that's probably why they're selling better. But yeah, they're definitely
it actually hurts.
and it's treated, the way it's presented is more like a sporting event too. It's not a big, for most of the Japanese promotions anyway. It's not a big, silly show.
Soap opera.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole lot of just sporting aspect to it, and they're just crazy with what they'll do with their bodies, and it makes me cringe, but at the same time I can't look away. It's like kicking each other full tilt in the head and then dropping guys on their heads and stuff like that. It's insane.
Now that we're 40s, I appreciate it more. I'm like, yeah, when I was younger I was like, oh, it's fake, bullshit.
I'm in my 40s too, and it's fake and it's bullshit, and I don't like it.
I look at it now and I'm like, oh, that'll hurt.
That being said, don't get me wrong, I still have mad respect for these athletes because they truly are athletes. I have a friend, Jeff Higgins. He and I used to fuck around with wrestling, and he taught me the concept of selling a move. And some of the things that that we would do to each other fucking hurt, so I still do have mad respect for those athletes and those actors. But if I wanted to watch, if I want to watch pugilism, I'll watch a boxing match or an MMA fight or what have you.
Bringing around to music and wrestling again. You guys familiar with the Billy Corgan? How he's right into the wrestling?
William Corgan. I mean, that's what he would prefer to be called these days.
William Patrick Corgan.
That's right.
Yeah, he owns one of the wrestling franchises. I forget which one.
Yeah, he owns the NWA. I don't think they've done anything since the pandemic hit. So I have no idea what he's got on the go. Probably just sinking a whole lot of money into something that's not making much.
See, I knew you would know though. As soon as I mentioned it, you're like NWA. You knew which one.
So just to stick on this wrestling thing for one more moment, Sean. In regards to the big arena shows that the WWE absolutely lives on, how and you'll have to forgive me for being so green in this arena, pardon the pun, but how are they selling tickets? How are they able to keep their shows up? What are they doing?
Well, the biggest money makers for them these days is not house shows like it was in the past. That was the reason for television, was to promote your house shows that they would have. These days, they make their bread and butter on TV rights fees, just like sporting events and things like that. They get paid, however much per year to have their TV show on the air, and they don't even need to do house shows. Same with their network that they have, their streaming service. It makes so much money, and it just got licensed to NBC's streaming service Peacock for like $1 billion. So they're not hurting for money.
That's a huge gain, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It really is. But I mean, Ed McMahon and all those boys, they're not afraid to tell you how much fucking money that they roll in every night.
So I was trying to tell you, instead of whispering it, I'll just say it out loud for everybody. I was fucking trying to whisper shit.
Good. That means I don't have to edit out the whispers later. Wicked. Thank you, Mike.
So instead of asking Adam House's question next, save it for the end, because I want to transition that into the next song. So go into I'll ask the next question.
Alyssa Wyszynski says,
yes. Is that your wife or real?
That's my wife. She asked a question.
Lucky lady.
What is the best advice you've ever given? Oh, yeah, you've ever given.
Been given.
Oh, you've ever been given.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, apparently we need donations to get Mike glasses.
Yes, you've been ever given. No.
What's the best advice you've ever been given? Asks your lovely wife.
And it's probably from her. That's why she said it, isn't
it? You'd probably be correct. Best advice is probably to not worry so much about what you can't control. Just kind of concentrate on making the best of what you have and what you do have control over.
Huh. That's beautiful advice.
Yeah, that came directly from my wife Alyssa.
Awesome. So big shout out to her for sure.
How long
That's
you
great
guys
advice.
Been together?
We've been together for just about 11 years. Been married for almost 5.
And you got 2 kids?
Yeah, 2 boys. Bennett just turned 3, and Jedrick 7.
Congratulations.
Those are cool
man.
names, dude. Very neat
Thank you.
names. Yeah.
Do you want to try pronouncing that next name, Jeph? Because I do not want to try.
Yes, I do. Hold on. This is from Helmut Armniak. Huh?
That's close. That's, you know who that is? That's my mom's man.
Okay.
Ah.
So kind of like your stepdad, or
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
how do you
think his last name is Arm Connect, I think, but I'm
Oh,
not
really?
100% on that.
Yeah, I didn't want to pronounce the K because just for our listeners that don't see it, but hey, you can check all these questions out and then submit your own if you followed us on Facebook. But the spelling is ARMKNECHT. So Arm Connect. I would not have taken that, but yeah. So Helmut asks, if possible, pick the one band that most affected your musical direction, when, and why.
It was
stepdad question.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is a good question. The one, if I had to choose one band, as far as what's influenced my direction in music and stuff, it's always going to be Metallica.
Awesome.
They were the first one.
I would not have thought of that about you, Sean. Actually, like, it just, a lot of these people that are into extreme metal. Sorry to interrupt you. I'll let you share in a second. They shoot on Metallica, and I like that you're an extreme metal guy, not shooting on Metallica and praising them right now. All right, now continue. Sorry.
No worries. No, they were the first one. I'm going to say grade 9, grade 10. Just started listening to them, and I think I started like a lot of people started. Unless you're one of the purists that started in the 80s with all their older stuff. Like I started with the Black Album.
Me too, basically.
Yeah.
That's when I dropped them. When they released the Black Album, I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm over it.
Well, one was what got me into them. Metallica 1, and then Black Album came out right afterwards.
Ride the Lightning was my first Metallica love.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, it was the Black Album, and then Master of Puppets shortly after, and that changed everything.
Yeah.
Because that's when I wasn't listening to a shitload of metal at the time. Black Sabbath would have been the most at the time, and
that's what got you into metal, Metallica.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You know what it was for me? You know what? The first time I heard Metallica, I gotta say, I thought it was like death, like what I consider death metal now.
It was the heaviest thing I'd heard up to that point, because it had been things like the Beatles and the Everly Brothers and Rolling Stones, and like that was rock to me because of mom and dad, right? For sure.
So I totally get it.
Yeah. So let me follow up Helmut's question finally with why. Why did they? Why were they the band that affected you, your musical direction the most?
I think it was just a natural progression from what I was listening to already. It was like they just had the right sound. It was heavier than everything else I was listening to at the time, which seemed to be the direction that I wanted to go in, and then it ultimately was. And then and then just being able to keep those songs in your brain all the time, just there was so much about their songs that just stayed with me, lyrically, and then riff wise, and just beats. Like you could just, you get those bands where you can just hear everything even before it happens. You just know what's coming.
What's coming, and it's not because it's formulaic, but because that's what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Metallica was for me, and that's what ultimately got me into so much more. And so I always end up going back to them. Even now, I've heard those albums so many times, and I know every single section in it, inside and out. Yeah. But I still go back to them. Awesome. I think that's the best bands. So you always do that.
I'm going to ask you a question that we haven't really asked anybody since season 1. And knowing that it's Metallica, that's that band. So let me form the question to you, sir.
Oh, I know who you're going.
Yeah, you do. If you were stuck on a desert island, Sean Wyszynski, and you only had one Metallica album and a crank up record player to listen to that album on because you had no electricity, what would that album be?
One Metallica album, I would take their newest re-release of Master of Puppets, because it's got 3 discs,
Fucking guys thinking ahead. See, I did.
Well,
say one album.
It's got the album, you know, the regular album. It's got demos and outtakes, and then it has a full live set from that tour.
Cool.
Good thinking. So
you know what? I hate when I get those in my torrent downloads, though.
I'm the same way.
Fuck you guys. Fuck
in my physical media. I want everything, but in my torrent downloads.
God damn you guys and your fucking torrents, man. Buy your fucking music already.
No,
Jesus,
but I mean,
isn't
like,
what
they always throw in all that extra shit, man. And it's just like all these demos and
my
fucking
stomach is so upset right now. So listen, boss, we got one more question coming out of the mailbag for you, Sean.
Can I ask this one?
Yeah, absolutely. This one comes from Adam House.
Well, I want to ask it backwards. That's why, because I want to transition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
so
our fucking show. We can do what we want.
So the second part of this question was old school red and yellow Hulk Hogan versus NWO Hogan. Who wins? Ooh, yeah,
brother. If it's 1987, red and yellow goes over no problem. Doesn't matter what's thrown at him. If it's 1997, NWO Hogan wins because the NWO guys interfere.
Okay, so it's 1992 then.
The second one doesn't exist yet.
So we're back to the red and yellow. Okay, great answer. Fuck, that was wicked.
All right, now
we have a follow up from Adam as well.
Well, it was the first part of the question. It was the actual his.
It's our follow up now.
Yeah, your favorite Hate Division recording and why? And the reason why I chose to ask it now is because this is what we're gonna pick for the next song.
Yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about Hate Division. So, how did Hate Division even come about? Let alone the super fucking cool name.
And do you have a favorite recording?
Band came about just from the end of the previous band, and the rest of us, along with Paul, decided to get it going. Like I believe Paul had a project on the go called, I think he had it called Hate Division, where it was just him making his own music. But when we all got together with Paul, we just took the name and started from there.
Wicked.
As far as my favorite recording, it's got to be Order the Enslaved. It's got to be. I love everything that we've done, but that one from the production to the songs to the fucking artwork.
Oh,
I love the artwork.
If you heard listen to Shane's episode, Shane says he looks at he said, I can't believe that's my album.
Yeah,
that's it. I felt the exact same way when I first saw it. I was like, holy shit, that was made for us.
Yeah, that's my album cover.
It is pretty brutal.
It is fucking amazing. It's gorgeous.
It's like 3D. It looks like almost 3D-ish. Mm-hmm. It's so well done.
Absolutely. So
I have to go with that one.
All right, well then what song, man? You know what? I'm glad that when we had Shane on, I felt like we kind of neglected this album. We only played like one song off of it.
Everything happens for a reason.
Right. So maybe I don't know.
Let's take 2 hits off of this one. Sean, you pick the first one, and then we'll pick the second one. What do you say?
Sure.
So you got 13 to pick from here.
I got to look up some of these names. I can't remember. It's been so long since
I wouldn't mind like one of those little interludes before one of them, like you know what I mean? Those little.
Oh yeah, there's a really good one. What the hell is it called? Let me bring it up here. Just give me a sec.
So just for anyone listening or watching that wants to check this out, all of these albums that we've been talking about tonight are available on bandcamp.com.
Yes, they are.
This one that we're talking about right now, Order the Enslaved, is $8 is all they're asking for, $8 or more.
And I think
I recommend paying more, by the way.
$14 for the discography. Jesus,
like come on,
that's a goddamn bargain.
that's
really
a fucking. You might as well steal it. Actually, please don't.
Yeah, $14 for our discography.
Don't get a torrent.
You know how much blood, sweat, and tears we put into that shit?
Jeph will hate you a little bit if you download it through a torrent. I'll tell you what.
So I know I've seen them on torrent. I've seen it on torrent sites.
That's actually something to be proud of, though.
You made it when, right?
None of
yeah, that's what I say.
So you
got,
got,
oh shit, this has been downloaded 200 times.
Wicked. I wish someone paid me for that.
Yeah.
So you got 13 tracks on this super fucking amazing album. What would be your pick for our listeners and viewers here on the video version of this podcast, located on our website and YouTube?
My pick for the first one would be The God Species. I like that one. Shane actually wrote the lyrics to that one, and I had to learn them when I came up to record. So I kind of learned it the day that I recorded is when I learned the lyrics and the vocal patterns.
Wicked. Oh shit. So you want to just fucking blast right into it, boys?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'm not going to open another beer. I'm looking at this going like, I'm thirsty, but that's not a good idea. Still going to run the show here. So track 10 from the Hate Division on the album of Order of the Enslaved,
The God Species,
right here on Jam Sessions with our guest this week, Sean Wyszynski.
I don't even know what that sound was I was trying to do.
I don't know what that sound was either, but it was just, let's call it pure joy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this
Fuck. So I want to talk just for a moment, guys, about the production of this album, Sean. That not like, you know, just simple little things like panning and things like that, but like these are really good headphones that I have on my head, and the sound that is coming into my ear holes is crisp and clean and very polished, man. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys made this?
I wasn't around for any of the recording besides my own vocals. I know Shane recorded everything. He is very talented.
Mixed and engineered by Shane Forsythe.
That's right. I was hoping we'd say that.
It was mastered by Surgeon's Lab Studio by I don't want to mispronounce the name again.
Hugues Delores.
There we go. Thanks, Jeff.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm fucking hacking.
Yeah, I'm not sure
what you say. The difficult names tonight.
that was believe it.
Delorier. We'll call him that much for sure.
Delorier, yeah. He was from Quebec, I believe. I think that's where it was mastered. Was by a dude in Quebec.
It says that Shane did some vocals on that song we just listened to as well. He added some vocals in there.
Yeah, there's a few little vocals near the start of the song. I love his raspy vocals. They're fucking awesome.
I'm a huge fan.
Yo, it's like the kid eats fucking gravel for breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Like me and him are good buddies since we were like young teenagers. So, when he first started his first band, Dusthead, and he started screaming like a crazy person, I was a huge fan right off the beginning and play a lot of shows with him. And anyway, he's I don't want to say this. Well, he's listening probably. So anyway, Shane, I think you're awesome, man, and you're a better singer than I think you are.
Aw, that's sweet.
No, he's right. No, he's really talented, and you could see even more of that on that Upon Ruins album.
Yes. I'm glad that he started doing the singing again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, dynamic motherfucker. That's for sure. A lot of
they need a drummer and to be able to do that, like at least one live show of that. I'd love to see an Upon Ruins show.
Mm-hmm. Drummers, come on, get your shit together.
Yeah, where's all the extreme metal drummers in friggin' Pictou County?
His name is Chad, and we just had an interview with him.
But he's just not in Pictou County.
Yeah,
I just got a text message from him. He was asking me what time I was doing the show, so he wouldn't interrupt me.
Well, you know what? And thank you for that, because I would have been an asshole if I didn't fucking do this. There's another mailbag question.
Oh, we're bringing back the mailbag.
Look
at my eyes. What's
Chad
going
Mitchell
on
is not on social media.
Yeah, so we got a super special extra like Telegram mailbag.
So he texted me this. Here, why don't you do it? Because you get the good eyeballs.
I got the good eyeballs. Hey man, I have a comment or question for Sean for the podcast, and this one's for you from Chad Mitchell. It was awesome to meet you at the Immolation gig a few years ago. Who were your earlier influences and who were your modern day influences? So I kind of asked this question earlier when I asked early influences in regards to your Metallica and your Beatles, etc. So maybe we can kind of move on from that and talk about your modern day or maybe even current influences, Sean.
Current influences, a lot of modern death metal. Is what I listen to. But the funny thing is, a lot of the stuff I listen to now is it's like retro death metal. They write their stuff, in the vein of like early death metal. So you're hearing a lot of bands that are really kind of paying tribute to a lot of the older ones from, say, the late 80s, early 90s. So a lot of that stuff these days, which kind of harkens back to when I first got into death metal. It's really just guys today that are writing stuff that I liked back then.
I love it. Awesome. So you picked a song. Now we get to pick a song. What do you want to listen to, Mike? because I mean I have a personal pick that I would totally pick here, but maybe the one that you want to pick isn't the same one that I want to pick. So you say it, because I picked the last one.
I think I like Medicated a lot.
Yes, fuck yeah, that was the one I wanted, dude. Because I mean, that's our life. We live medicated, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it's just, let's fucking do it.
All right, let's jump right into it, man.
And then we're gonna go on to why we brought you on here to promote. We promote here.
The Sky Burial is what we're gonna get into next. But let's first listen to track 11 off of Order of the Enslaved by Hate Division.
You should let it go into number 12.
What do you mean? Like just play Medicated and let it go into Global Autopsy? Because Global Autopsy is 1 minute and 1 second long.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's fucking do it. It's our show. We can do whatever we want here, Sean. So
yeah, man.
Thank you, buddy, for coming on here tonight. Just want to throw that one out to you, bud.
So devil horns.
Devil horns. Both hands. So let's jump into track 11 here, guys, on Order of the Enslaved by Hate Division, with our guest here this week on Jam Sessions, Sean Wyszynski. Thanks again for joining us, buddy. Here we go with Medicated, and then we're going to let it play right into track number 12, Global Autopsy. Thanks for tuning in here on Jam Sessions, guys. Here we go. So
It's so good.
that is some serious flexing by our very own Mr. Paul Shaw on that bass, if I'm not mistaken. Unless it's like a super crazy tuned down guitar.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Howie. I want to say it's guitar.
Oh wow! See, because I was thinking it could be like a drop B or a drop C sharp or something like that.
Well, these
I
guys,
could be wrong.
these guys too.
Paul, shoot me.
Paul, shoot me.
Those,
See, I think it's bass.
I'm almost not I'll re-listen to it another day.
Yeah, with some more headphones.
Let's listen to it 5 more times right now.
Okay.
I
I mean,
could.
fuck, that's a really great way to stretch out the show, Sean. But I
Yeah.
don't know if our listeners would be down.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's take some acid and do that.
Yeah.
That's a whole other fucking show, people.
Yeah.
So, Mike's got a really great question here. You put that album out in what year was it?
Oh yeah, I hit my I forgot my question. But
Yeah,
thank you.
I got you.
Order was 2014, I think.
Right.
And now you have a new band.
The Sky Burial.
It came out 2021 last month. That's 7 years between releases.
So there's 2 questions here, one from me and one from Mike. My question is, what the fuck were you doing in those 7 years? And then Mike's follow-up question.
Was it hard to get back into it again after the layoff?
Well, for the last 7 years, I've been looking after my children, my family.
Awesome.
Yes.
Being a dad.
Yeah, being a dad. Not without trying to get something else on the go out here. Just Fort McMurray is such a unique town that everybody's on such fucked up schedules, right?
It's a fucked up town, dude. Everything about Fort Mac is fucked.
Yeah,
it was probably one of the best vacation spots I ever went to. Weird enough.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. I had one of the best vacations of my life in Fort McMurray.
That's cool.
Interesting.
But it is a fucked up town, man. Like it is. No one sleeps there, or at least the town doesn't sleep.
That's right. Yeah, they're always up. They're either working or they're partying.
Right. Yeah. They're either shoveling snow or blasting it up their face.
Yeah. So really, it's been being a dad and a husband and doing random, oil site jobs out here, trying, talking to different people, trying to get jams on the go and nothing working out, and getting a few jams on the go with a few people and then it not working out, mostly just due to scheduling and people not having time or not being able to link up. That's been pretty much the whole last 6-7 years.
And then, so how did this thing start?
I spoke to Bob originally, I want to say a couple of years ago.
Who's Bob? Sorry.
He's a guitar player,
Okay.
one of the guitar players in the Sky Burial. He was looking.
Put the brakes on for one question. I do want to digress back to that 7-year hiatus really quickly. So,
Sure.
So dad to dad, I got a question. What do you see has changed in Sean Wyszynski since pre-dad versus post-dad?
Got a lot more gray hair now than I used to.
For sure.
No, but I would say having a routine is probably the biggest thing. Actually having things in a routine and organized and thought out and everything along those lines is a big difference now compared to 7 or 8 years ago before, or even 10 years ago before having children, for sure. My life was pretty chaotic for a lot of years, just in between jobs and just partying or just existing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't necessarily live in a routine. I think that's
found your peace, Daddy-O. That's really cool, man.
Absolutely.
Cool. So as you were saying, you met Bob, and then
well, he had been in a couple of bands previously, and he was looking to
is he in Alberta? And where's he from? Where's Bob? Who's Bob?
Bob?
Who the fuck
Bob's
is
been
Bob?
out here.
What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Bob's family's from Newfoundland, but I
so
believe,
he's an East Coaster.
Nice.
yeah, but I believe that most of his time's been spent here in Fort Mac or in
Okay.
this general area.
So he's from there then.
Yeah. Yeah, he was looking to start something, and I was looking. We were on the same Facebook group or something, and we just kept in touch. And then, just whenever he got a hold of a few other people, they had been looking for vocalists, and it wasn't working out. I'm not on the same schedule as Trevor, our other guitar player. But they needed a vocalist, and they knew I was one, so we got together pretty quickly within I want to say the last 7 months.
So to get into my question, was it difficult to get back into it? I know, like, for me personally, I took a big break from singing for a while. I used to be a singer in my younger days, and then just the last couple of years I started kind of doing it again. And when I first started trying it out, it was fucking tough, man.
It hurt.
Hurts. I'd lose my voice easy. I'd run out of breath quick. All kinds of things I forgot about being old. It fucking sucks.
Getting back into it physically, yeah, definitely was a little bit of a challenge at first. Like when I did my first recording session, Bob came over to the house and got his gear all set up, and I remember just going through the first song. I think it was Excarnation. And I think that was the first thing we did. And man, it hurt. The first few times around, doing a full tilt. I hadn't done that in a few years. I had gone back to PEI in the summertime and jammed with the Amnesty guys a couple of years ago, but it'd been at least 3 years since I'd done any sort of vocals, especially extreme vocals. And it took a few tries, but it's funny, within doing that same first song, like within a little bit of time, it's almost like your throat and your gut and the rest of your body just kind of go, oh yeah, I used to do this.
Yes. Yeah.
Muscle memory kicks in. It's like,
yeah, and then you just kind of remember how to do it, and all of a sudden you're blazing through songs, and you're blazing through sections.
It's awesome, man. This little EP you guys did is really blowing my mind. Actually.
Powerful, to say the least. Holy fuck, 5 songs, but it might as well be an entire album, Sean. Wow.
I always wanted you to come on the show anyway because of the Hate Division and everything. But then once this got released last month, I was like, okay, I'm fucking messaging this guy.
Somebody call Sean.
So get him on right now and let's promote this shit. Question I have, and I hope the answer is yes, is there's some clean vocals in here. Are you doing those?
vocals?
Is it you?
Are you doing
It is
that?
me.
Whoa! Where did that shit come from? I was surprised when Shane started doing that on the Upon Ruins too.
I said one adjective that I would use when describing Sean is dynamic, and bro, you are fucking blowing my socks off. I'm really happy.
So where did that come from?
That's you. Yeah. What inspired that?
It was just that first song, the first one that we did was Excarnation, and that has a clean section in it. I start off the clean part, and then whenever it goes higher, that's actually Bob that's doing those higher vocals.
Okay. And it's 4 minutes 20 seconds long.
Yeah, look at that, eh? And but yeah, I was just hearing that song and then hearing that melodic section. I was like, you know what, we're going to do some cleans here. And I wanted to make sure I did it properly, that it wasn't going to be some like, whiny sounding vocals. I wanted to be kind of powerful, clean vocals, because if I'm going to do clean vocals, I don't want to be doing them the way I don't like them.
This is the dad. This is what brings your question up there, Jeph.
This is the difference, huh? This is post dad.
Yeah.
This is Sean after kids. He's a little bit more mellow. He's got a little bit more melodic tones.
I don't know if it's more mellow.
No, he's not mellow. You're right.
He's just trying some different things.
Yeah, definitely a more of an open mind. If you would have asked me to do clean vocals on anything in Gruesome Feast, I would have like spit at you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same words, maybe like spit and be like.
Let's play it.
Absolutely. So Excarnation, track number 4 off the Sky Burial's latest EP release, self-titled. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Self-titled.
Awesome. So here we go again. Excarnation with the Sky Burial out of Alberta, right here on Jam Sessions with our guest this week, Mr. Sean Wyszynski.
I think Jeph really enjoyed that.
Holy fuck.
He has a lot of stuff to
Jeez,
say.
okay. I have so many things that I want to say. So first off, there are so many influences in that fucking sound. I hear old school Furble and Alice in Chains and like some Entombed and
Entombed,
like so much good 90s like thrash and black metal, and oh my fucking god, dude, so good.
It's got the
and Sun, like SUNN, like so much good fucking sounds. Oh my god, the Sky Burial, fucking check them out, people.
We just did check it out.
But they need to go to Bandcamp and buy the album for $7 or more. I always recommend more. It's only 5 songs, so I mean, if you were to buy this on the platforms that don't really pay the artist, you'd be paying your average 99 cents to your $1.29 for your premium content. But this album, this EP, this 5-song fucking masterpiece.
I paid my $7 today.
Right? That's how we're listening to it now. Let's make sure that we get behind these guys, because if you like what you heard, because I know I fucking did, you need
that was amazing.
Throw your money at these guys, please.
I listened to that earlier today, and I listened to it when it first came out too, actually, when you first posted on your Facebook, and I recapped myself with it this morning. And right now, when we just listen to it right this second, like it just gets better and fucking better and better. So I think this is gonna be.
You listen to music at home on a stereo with sonically, like with so many sonic layers like this. You gotta put the cans on.
Yeah, this is the first time I was doing it. Oh my god, very well mixed.
What a fucking ride, Sean. Well done.
I don't know who's doing all the mixing and everything.
Mixing, it was done by a friend of the band, Ryan. I'm not sure his last name, and he did a hell of a job. And he changed little things and just tweaked little things and just stuff. He produced. He didn't just mix, right? And he did a hell of a job. Like that little the melodic section before the clean vocals come in the second time, where you got like a little bit of keyboard in there. Like he added that in. He did a hell of a job.
He produced it, man, and it's not overproduced. It doesn't have that plastic feel. It still has that organic metal that you want, right? Like, fuck,
for
dude,
sure,
so good.
Yeah, you must be this is exciting, this project.
It's got to be.
Yeah. So where is this going? Where's the future of the Sky Burial?
So we've kind of learned, as like I say, we always do on the show, we learned where you came from, what you've been doing. Now's the section of the show, Sean, where we find out what's next.
Yeah.
What's next for the Sky Burial, Sean Wyszynski?
And I don't think Hate Division is done, is it?
No, I don't think so either.
I was talking to Paul yesterday. I think it was yesterday, and he was saying there's been a couple of riffs that have come around in Upon Ruins practices that are definitely Hate Division riffs. So it's definitely something that I think we'll end up going back to, at least at the very least, in a recording situation. Just a matter of when, right?
Right. But is the Sky Burial, since this is like a brand new thing, is there more future releases from you guys that we can look forward to?
I think definitely. This one here, we may look at doing a physical media release as well.
Yes, and there's a couple of guys that definitely would love to go be that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and being a guy who likes to collect, because I got a stupid amount of CDs in this room. I'd love to have CD copies. I'd love to have vinyl copies.
I know
too.
you are like a music list. Like, I can just imagine your CD collection.
No kidding.
But as far as the future of the band, I definitely see more releases coming. Maybe even more so that before we even play live, because man, we can't even get together in a jam spot yet because we're not allowed. Freedom denied.
Freedom denied.
So where does everybody that's involved in this band live then?
We're all in Fort McMurray.
So you're all in Fort McMurray. So it's definitely doable for like a show. If like you can do restrictions were all lifted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You guys could get
You
together.
and your hope, Mike.
Hope.
What I do.
What's
I
that?
make dreams, and sometimes these dreams come true, right?
You're right.
So this dream is not coming true anytime soon, but the dream is, let's say that all restrictions are lifted right now. You guys could fucking play some shows in Fort McMurray right now.
Do you have a venue for those types of shows?
Yeah, they've had a few shows like this over, I don't know, I've been out here for 8 years now, and there's been a few gigs the last few years. It's been a while, obviously, because nothing's open, but that's definitely the plan, is to, as soon as we're actually legally able to get together, is start jamming these songs, and get the set list together so that we can, and get tight so that we can play live.
Known that place as being like workplace. Everybody moves there for work. I never really heard too much about like what the music scene is.
It's
there.
a mecca, man. There's a shit ton of musicians there.
Well, they must be.
It's the only reason that they don't get together is because they're fucked up schedules.
That's
Like,
it.
There'd
be a shitload of bands in this town if people's schedules were so fucked up.
It's it, Sean. It would be a mecca of musicians if not for the fucked up schedules, man.
Yeah.
Well, something needs to be done.
Well, talk to Suncor.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh man. So
that's the beauty of the Maritimes. Let's go back to why our podcast is about and why he's on here, because he has roots from here. Is that we have nothing better to fucking do with our time around here, but like most of the why I think so many talented musicians come out of this place is because we don't have those fucked up schedules. We have a lot of time to get around and jam. We have these winter storms that fucking make us like
knock out power for 4 days.
So we have nothing better to do but to get around and jam.
Absolutely. So
I think
we're lucky for sure.
Absolutely.
How many metal bands were from PEI? Like seriously,
more than Nova Scotia, I bet.
I don't know about more than Nova Scotia, because there are a lot of bands come out of Halifax.
Maybe per capita.
When you count Halifax, Nova Scotia's loaded with metal.
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as metal goes, yeah, there's been a decent amount of metal bands that come out of PEI. There's, when I was in high school, actually in the late 90s, there was a good scene. Like you could go to, the smallest community in PEI, and usually on the weekend there'd be some sort of all ages show happening. Like it's just something you don't see anymore, is these all ages shows with local bands. But used to see it a lot, and there was a decent amount of heavier bands. They just have come and gone. I don't even know what they have in PEI right now, if anything.
Yeah, I'm not familiar neither. But
besides like Death Valley Driver, they've been around for a long, long time. And a couple of guys in that band have a recording project. Actually, they're going to be playing live too, called Graves of the Abyss. That's the only thing. We
should play one more of the Sky Burial.
And we don't want to give too much away. It's 5 songs after all.
We're here to promote. We're here to promote it.
Hell yeah.
We want. So Sean, why don't you pick one more song?
Yeah, let's pick one more song here,
and then we're gonna wrap her up here. I think unless you have other.
Unless you want to tell us a story.
No, I'll pick a song. Let's go with Morbid Afterlife. That one's a little bit different than the rest of the.
I love how you guys are like,
songs.
these are the 2 songs I wanted to hear off of this, and you picked that one and you picked that one. I'm so happy right now. So
it's all working.
Fucking right. Everything works.
It's all coming up Millhouse.
It's all coming up. Sean Wyszynski tonight, baby. This is going to be track 3 off of the Sky Burial's newest EP, self-titled The Sky Burial, of course. This one's called Morbid Afterlife, right here on Jam Sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the Sky
Very good
Burial.
job, Sean. Like,
Yeah. So one thing that I've really noticed in this new project with you, Sean, is your articulation in the words that you're vocalizing or singing.
a little easier to hear what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Like his articulation, like the words that you're saying are so much better formed, and you're yelling in key, you know what I mean? Like you really evolved, man, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for coming on the show tonight, spending some time with us, sharing your story, and letting us hear
for sure
where you came from, what you're doing now, and what's next for Sean Wyszynski and the Sky Burial.
To be on a song with you someday.
Yeah, man. Well, maybe with Chad Mitchell, he's doing a whole shitload of different shit.
I was going to bring that. Yeah, I heard that maybe you are going to do some work with him.
Yeah, hopefully in a couple of days. I'm just getting my gear situated up here and hoping to lay down some vocals in a few days, actually.
Awesome.
I'm hoping somehow I get intertwined in that somehow.
Something's
that would be cool,
ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of cooking and brewing and making shit, stick around. We get some big news coming your way. This is going to be a busy week. We got 3 interviews, so we're going to start backloading all of the episodes for you beautiful people.
Episode 7, and it will be coming out.
Not this Friday. What's the date? I don't know. God, see,
19th. That's this.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we have Leah and Kyle's episode coming out on the 19th. Sean Wyszynski's episode is going to come out on the 26th, and then we're going to have a bunch of really cool shit coming on after that. Exactly, Mike. Sean, again, Mr. Wyszynski, thank you so much for joining us here tonight and spend a little time with us, buddy.
It's my pleasure.
Stick around.
Yeah, stick around after we hit stop, and we'll figure our real goodbyes. How's that sound?
Awesome.
My
Sounds
real
good,
goodbye
man.
for you people out there is I love yous all. I really do.